Ahoy, mateys! Do you guys love fish, ships, and dicks? Cause if you do, then shiver me timbers, walk the plank and smack my ass. Boy, do I have the game for you. Batten down the hatches, grab your nearest pirate leg, and let's unravel the mysteries buried deep beneath Dredge. So there I was, sailing, just like most sailors do, on my way to a job listing to become an angler. A thick fog approached my vessel, and I reenacted the Titanic, nearly offing myself just offshore of where I had the job interview. Somehow, even after seeing that I clearly don't possess the skills to be navigating these waters, the mayor still gave me the job, and even a new boat since mine was, and I quote, hopelessly damaged. The mayor also ominously warned me about the dangers of staying out past sundown. The letters were in red, so you know he was being serious. But then again, he also just hired a man who crashed his boat in front of a lighthouse, which, if you don't know, its main purpose is to prevent boats from crashing into rocks. So, I don't think this mayor is as smart as he thought he was. So, I'm gonna take his warnings with a grain of salt. It was my first day on the job, and I had but one goal only: to catch a fish. Now, don't let the simplicity of this challenge and the majestic, beautiful scenery fool you. This game, this job, these waters eventually turn into something so shocking, so nightmarishly disturbing that not even I was fully prepared for what's to come. So fish collecting, how does it work? You find a ripple in the water, you park your car on top of the water, and prepare to test your reaction times. If you're a pro like me, you shouldn't miss the target. My first catch of the day was a cod. I took this poor green bastard from his family and slapped him right on the deck of my ship. It looked lonely, so I didn't stop fishing until I ended up with his entire family up on my floor. I found out I had a telescope which helped me see what kind of fish were further away from me. This meant that no matter what size the fish was, no matter how far it was not safe from my fishing rod. I caught some black mackerel and realized that there were a lot of things I wasn't yet able to catch. This was because in this game, there are different kinds of fish that require different fishing rods in order for you to collect them. You want to catch a catfish? Nope, sorry. You're gonna need a mangrove rod. You want a cusk eel? Oof, get cucked, dumbass. You need a volcanic rod. On top of that, certain fish only come out during the day and some only at night. So basically, if you wanted to catch every single fish in this game, you were gonna have to put in some serious work. This game will basically turn into a real life 9-to-5 job for you. Since today was only the first day, I just stuck to cod and black mackerel until I couldn't fish anymore. I met a dock worker named Dock Worker on the east side of the Marrow who introduced me to a trader speed running his way to bronchitis. If I had any trinkets to sell or basically anything that's not a fish, he was the man to see. After meeting those two, I randomly decided to beat my horn, and this happened. I don't know why, and I don't know who, but someone was out there mimicking my horn. Anyways, I headed back to the west side of the Marrow where I got greeted by debt. I owed $50 to the town for lending me their boat, which honestly, when compared to the real pricings of boats, it's definitely a steal. I sold my fish to the fishmonger for a whopping 141 doubloons, and he told me that the previous fisherman before me basically moved into heaven. The mayor saw how much fish I caught and saw how much of an absolute danger I was to the aquatic life of these waters that he even gave me a research part, an invaluable item allowing me to upgrade my ship in order to become one of the greatest anglers of all time. It was only 2303, which meant nothing to me since I couldn't read in a 24-hour format, so I talked to the shipwright in town. She basically fixes up my boat and sells me parts, so I knew damn well I'd be visiting her quite a few times. I used my research part to get a faster engine since I wanted my boat to nearly snap my damn neck every time I drove it forward. I went to bed, and with that, day 1 ended and day 2 commenced. Day 2 was nothing special since all I did was collect fish in order to settle my debt. I did, however, manage to catch my first arrow squid and find a bottle labeled the 20th of August, 1927. It was written by a woman who just recently got married to a man who honestly seems to take sailing very seriously. It's all nice and cute with her saying that he has a picnic planned for them since it was the second day of their honeymoon. As I was sailing back to sell my fish, I turned on my lights like the good driver I was and focused. Alright. My vision was getting distorted, so I'm guessing I was losing my mind, but thankfully, I made it just in time to talk to this sweet old lady. I told her I was a fisherman, and she told me to fuck off and leave. The mayor asked me to deliver something for him, and the fishmonger asked me to bring him a gold flounder and a gray eel. I repaired my boat and bought a new fishing rod in order to be able to catch shallow fish. Although it was nice and early, my sanity was out of control. So I decided to rest since I damn near thought I was seeing the Babadook appear out of the water. Since I slept with the package in hand, by the time I delivered it, it had spoiled. On day 4, I caught the gray eel and the gold flounder and completed the fishmonger's quest. I then unlocked the old dock, which allowed me to make my storage space much larger, hold more fishing rods, put more lights. I mean, it was basically Pimp My Ride, but for boats. Unfortunately, these upgrades required planks and other materials I didn't have nor had any idea on how to get. So for now, I was stuck on a stock build. I put on the engine part I unlocked via the research part and started my 5th day strong by discovering new fish and finding my first aberration. This was the first hint that something wasn't right in these waters. If that wasn't bad enough, I received this warning and well, my fish wasn't looking too good. I gave it to the fishmonger and he pulled out a handkerchief from the inside of the fish. Just when I thought day 5 couldn't get any weirder, this mysterious guy comes to my ship and tells me that he wants said handkerchief. He said that I needed to meet him at Blackstone Isle, so of course I met the stranger there. He calls himself the Collector, and he said he was looking for relics from a ship that sank here a long time ago. He told me that if I could help him retrieve the items from that ship, then he would reward me in ways that no man could ever imagine. He made a compelling argument, so I obliged. He fitted my boat with the dredge crane and sent me on my way to collect these 5 relics. I guess you can say from this point on, my journey does truly begin. This dredge crane allowed me to pick up treasures and supplies I needed to upgrade my boat, so it was a real game changer. I saw that we were finally getting some visitors to these islands, and the dock worker told me that no one lives on Blackstone Isle. So either the Collector was a ghost, or one of us was drinking way too much salt water. With my sanity slowly dwindling, the dock worker decided it would be a perfect time to tell me a story. A long time ago, there was a fisherman who dredged up a casket and brought it onto shore. Once he opened it, the fog rolled onto these islands, and everyone who laid eyes on what was inside of that casket went mad, or even worse, died. Well, quite a dark story to hear while I'm literally sleep deprived and losing my mind. And just to top this morning off with a cute little cherry on top, I had this grieving father tell me to bring him a belt buckle from his son, a belt buckle he wore the day he went missing. It's clear to me that positivity in this island is basically non-existent. You want misery? You like depression? Come here. Come to the Marrows. This place was definitely plagued by something, I just didn't know what. A bird snatched a fish off my boat, and I completed the fishmonger's quest, which awarded me with a crab pot. You can pretty much guess what that allowed me to do. I finally took a nap and was awoken by a woman who wanted to move to a different isle. Finally, someone who's making a right decision. She needed some lumber and scrap metal in order for her to move, so now that's another item I had on my to-do list, which was, to be honest, beginning to feel like a lot. The sweet little old lady tried to scare me into leaving again, and just like the dock worker, she also seemed scared when talking about the old mayor of this town. Apparently he went batshit crazy and started to slowly lose his mind and was never seen again. And here I was, thinking that this was just going to be another fishing job. Not gonna lie, at this point I was kinda hoping that the crash I was in earlier was a lot worse. Anyways, I placed a crab pot down to see if I could capture some Mr. Krabs and decided to do a little bit of dredging. Around nightfall, I again crashed into a rock, cementing the fact that I really needed to get some new headlights, and I experienced my first hallucination. I felt as though I was being watched, and since I was too afraid of seeing what was out there, I decided to take a small nap and come back in the morning of day 7. I went back to the fishmonger to sell my fish and take a look at the upgrades to see if I can unlock anything, but alas, I could not. I wasn't really going for anything in specific, so I decided to just split up whatever materials I had amongst all the upgrades until I was able to acquire one. I did find a new bottle on my way to the dock, labeled the 21st of August, 1927, and it's a bit concerning. You see, the newlywed couple took a page out of my book and ran their ship into a rock that came out of nowhere. All was fine, they lost a few items, but The husband seemed very worried. He was beginning to feel paranoid that he might have performed the naming ceremony for the ship wrong. I don't know what this naming ceremony was, but the husband seemed to think it was some sort of death sentence. Look, I don't know who these people are, but the wife should have known he was a bit off the rails the second they decided to go to the sea for their honeymoon. I don't think the smell of whale semen and fucking salt screams romantic. Night hit, but I was too stubborn to leave the sea just yet, and well, this happened. I changed my name immediately to Pussy and wasted absolutely no time in heading straight back to the docks. I now knew that I was not the biggest boy out there. No. That demon that just attacked me showed me who the real king of these waters was. Now, weirdly enough, on day 8, after giving the fishmonger his Mr. Krabs, he now wanted me to give him an aberrated fish so that he could eat it. I don't know about you, but eating any fish that looks like any of these, I'm sure it will not do you any good. Nonetheless, I'm getting paid, so I went and fetched it for him. He avoided me with not one, but 2 more research parts. So goddamn, this man must have really been freaking foaming out the mouth for this ugly ass fish. He started to tremble and hear voices, so I sold whatever fish I had left and he closed up the shop. God only knows the horrors that are going on in that shop right now. I spent the 2 research parts he gave me on a new fishing pole that allowed me to catch both coastal and shallow fish using just 1 rod. Unfortunately, I did not have enough guap to get it just yet. I caught a somehow even more disgusting looking fish using my broken rod and collected some more fish for no reason since the fishmonger's gates were, they're still not open. I used this time to try and dredge some items, but once again, I never seemed to learn. After a day passed, the fishmonger thankfully came back normal somehow. I honestly, I'd expected him to grow like a second head or something. I decided to spend day 10 and day 11 really honing in on my fishing and dredging. I found new types of fish and even managed to successfully collect all the materials needed for that lady to move. However, of course, not without a few mishaps. I delivered the lady to where she wanted to go, but not before tossing some fish near her, so she must have smelled like shit once I got her to that island. 2 more research parts meant that I could finally acquire the hydraulic rod, which allowed me to catch oceanic fish, and an improved trawl net since I was now able to install nets onto my ship. It was looking good, not gonna lie. I've done a lot. And then the game hit me with a lot more confusion. This demonic rock slab clearly was asking for some cod, but I'll come back to that later since it was nighttime and it's a good thing I left when I did because I just barely escaped this monster. Not even a scratch on me. I installed a trawl net onto my boat and the new fishing rod I got, and I was now feeling like a brand new man. The trawl net allowed me to kidnap unsuspecting fish from their families, which I can't say I felt good about, but I was very slowly becoming this unstoppable fishing machine that would make all of these sad faces proud. I went back to that demonic rock, and because I'm such a idiot, nincompoop, loser, dumbass, I didn't realize that I actually needed to fill up all the slots with cod. Ah, yes, of course, as if it wasn't obvious the first time. I spent the next couple of days doing what a fisherman does best, collecting fish, obtaining the bag, rinse and repeat. Now, I do not discriminate, it wasn't just fish I was getting, I made sure the crabs were shown some love as well. I picked up more debris from the ocean, had a problem organizing my inventory, and asked the mayor a couple of questions regarding the 4 other islands on this map since I felt that it was time to go ahead and explore what else was out there. Before I left, I did make sure I got a couple of things done. I dredged up the old man's dead son's belt buckle and gave it back to him. Sold so much aquatic life that I thought PETA would bust down my door any minute. Gave the rock slab the cod it needed, which in return gave me a new rod called the sinew spindle. Okay, met these hooded demons who wanted fish in return for I don't know what, and then finally installed a hydraulic rod onto my boat. This game-changing item allowed me to fish up megala dicks like there was no tomorrow, or until I ran out of inventory space. Just 2 of these poor animals sold for a whopping 200 schmeckles, which made me so happy I nearly thought I could cash that money out in real life. Anyways, I installed a singular light on my ship, thought I could outmaneuver the night angler, and then finally, I said to hell with it. Let's head out to see what else these unknown waters have to offer. So I set off to explore more of the unknown, where things really, truly take a turn for the worst. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and do all that jazz if you like what you saw, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.